Sorry, that was me.
You guys got NIL deals coming in.
Yep.
We are live. Welcome to Equal Time Soccer. I love a sloppy intro, but we are here for a brand new show. I'm here with the stars of this new program for us. They're getting hit up. They're getting recruited. They're getting NIL texts as we speak. There's too much going on with the Raps. But we are here with the wrap up. 3 players who are honorary Minnesotans at this point. We're here with Eli, Kat, and Rami. Welcome. Thank you for joining for a new show, you guys.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Very excited.
We're back. Summer of soccer has begun. We were, of course, at the preseason match with Indy 11 this last weekend. So let's start off to get a little feedback from that. There were plenty of fans. Fun to see a game that had tickets sold. There were good scrimmages in the past years. Cool to see this year that, fans got to come out, get a little peek at some of the early players, even though not everyone was there. Kat, let's start with you. How did the team start out in the early part? Obviously, there's a core that was here. There's some local players. Y'all were here. But not everyone's here yet. But so how did you feel, in the first part of the game as the game started with Indy?
I think we started off pretty well, but I think we built through the game, especially in the first and through the halves. I think we built up and were able to play better and make better opportunities and better chances, playing through the middle, being able to switch with different players and not feeling stuck in one position. And I think, we just got better as both halves went. Not that, there's so many new people, like you just said, that, sometimes you have to communicate and get to know the players better before you're able to really create some, amazing play.
Mm-hmm. Eli, as we got into, the team leveled out for sure. I mean, Indy is a great team, so it's going to be a really tough test. They're also in their preseason, so there's not going to be perfect rhythm with either squad, right? If people are just coming into town. It was days before for some of you guys. But talk about what you saw as the game went on. How did you find, did you find any specific connections with players as you got into the game, or did you see anything out of newcomers that, made you optimistic for the way the chemistry could build for the team?
Well, I can first off say that it was really nice getting to be near Kat and Ram for a good chunk of time during that game. So that was one connection. I got to be I'm so excited that we finally got to play next to each other for such a long time. We were having a little rap connection on the field, so that was really fun. And I think overall, in the middle, there was a lot of good connections, and I think it's something we'll definitely be able to build on going to the next game and hopefully get a bunch of goals, because 0-0 is great, clean sheet, but we want to push for as many goals as we can, like all the other years.
Mm-hmm. It does feel obviously the fans love, doing the full rap chant. For people who haven't watched, doing it's a Sesame Street count situation. It's perfectly dorky for the level of a soccer dorkiness we live under following Aurora, but we enjoy it, and it does. Look, man, every year, you guys have been here a long time, and it does feel like the type of year where we could get more of the full rap situation. We all enjoy it. I remember the Rochester fans getting particularly annoyed with the count chant about the raps, and it kind of just made it more fun, I think, for the
I totally agree.
When we went down to watch the Loons. And shout out to the Loons. I got a hat. I got a hat out here for the Rochester FC team, but Rami, talk about, you came into the game later, you watched the game unfold. We were talking about seeing how chemistry, could connect with the core and then new players. What did you take from the end of the game when you came in, and how did you, what sense of the team chemistry did you get compared to, previous years?
I'm really excited to play with all these new people. I think we got definitely a good group of returners coming back. But I'm super excited I came in a few days after Eli and Kat, so it was nice to jump in and get to play the first game with everyone. And I feel like it's going to be a good year, and I'm excited to get to know the other players some more and play with them. And I think everyone's so solid. And it's been, from the week I've been here, it's been pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, it is for a summer league team, we do have in the Aurora squad a fair amount of like continuity, like there, and even if you're talking about not just from last year, but like if you're talking about people like you all, there's people who have been here years and years, and so there is a nice core. Even Jen Lyric being the new coach, obviously, but not so new, having had experience here. Talk about from each of you. We'll start with Kat. I want to hear from each of you talking about Jen, and of course, you've only met the new assistants as well, but Jen, someone you spent time with. Talk about if there's anything different you see from Jen of being a head coach, of what you think her strengths are, and what you've got out of meeting the new coaches so far. Kat, start with you.
I love it. I mean, from the first 2 years, obviously, with Jen being there was amazing. I loved all the previous coaching staffs, and I think she's just been able to kind of elevate everything that she did previously, but now as a head coach, I've always loved how kind of positive she is. Like, obviously, it's going to be hard in training and competitive, but when you do something well, she's going to highlight it and it makes you feel great as a player. And you're like, I'm going to continue to do that. So if you mess up, you don't have that fear of like, oh no, like, what is the coach thinking? Is this going to mess me up or make her think differently of me? Instead, you're thinking, no, like, she wants us to do the hard things. So even if we're making mistakes, it's not like, oh, don't keep doing that. It's keep doing that, and we'll just get better and better at it until there's no mistakes anymore. And then as for the other coaches, I like both Mel and Cody so far. I really think, bring a great level, great interactions between all three of them. So it's not just one person doing and saying everything. We can get a lot of different information from multiple coaches, which I really like.
Yeah. For people who haven't seen too, I mean, it was, as a Minnesota soccer dork, I noticed that Cody Cropper was hired as the goalkeeper coach. He was a youth player at Southampton, became, someone who started games at the New England Revolution and then in the USL Championship a lot. So for people who are Minnesota local dorks, kind of cool to see, someone like that there. And of course, wonderful pedigree for someone who's been in the pro game, and so hopefully can help, our players. Rami, talk about, the difference of seeing someone like Jen in the position. I want to ask you, like, I got to see her at the preseason availability, a few days ago before the preseason game. Jen is someone who comes across really kind of genuine. And she also said, in things like, people said, look, Aurora's never won the W League. Do you expect to have to win that as a goal? She said, I don't think like that. I think about, the process together, about how if we do things right, then the goals will come. I wonder, is that something, unique in terms of coaches you've had, Rami, and talk about that level of kind of Jen's focus on the process and not, talking points, or what you describe it as.
Yeah, I love that, because I think, if you get too focused on the goals, you lose sight of the day-to-day, and every day it's a grind, and, we have to show up every day and give our best. And I think it is about every day putting our best foot forward. And if we do that, then hopefully the outcome we want will happen. And I have so much respect for Jen and the whole staff, and, grateful to have her back. And she's an excellent communicator. And I think she stands for, all the things Aurora stands for. So I'm really excited to see how the season goes. And, we're just taking it day by day, and every day we're getting better, especially as most of the team comes in. And so we're excited to lay the groundwork, and hopefully that gets us to where we want to go.
Mm-hmm. Eli, what do you take out of, Jen's coaching style? And of course, I mean, for each of you, we'll talk a little bit about some of your college experiences, because you've been multiple places, each of you. And so you've seen other coaches at different high levels. You've had Aurora coaches that have been successful, never lost in the regular season, whoever it's been. What is unique about Jen to you in terms of, how she coaches, how she sees the game, how she communicates? What can you share about her, and, how you connect with her as a coach?
I just find that she gives really productive feedback. Sometimes you hear a lot of noise from coaches, and they're just telling you things, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it's really specific and not beneficial. But I mean, she's just very specific and is like I said, it's productive where you feel like you can grow and develop and build better connections both with her and with teammates. And so the better we are together and connected on the field, the easier it is to win and score goals. And so just the type of things she says, the type of critiques she makes feel like they're really positive a lot of the times. And so I just think that's a really special quality in a coach, where she can critique you, but it's not something that you take, you step back and you're like, oh my gosh, no, it's more like, I feel like I can improve this and I can get better. And this is how I help the team.
Mm-hmm. Is she? I mean, it's I've observed her as an assistant. I've watched my brother talk to her, and I've met her a handful of times and talked to her. She does present, especially if you talk about maybe the worst of what American soccer can offer in terms of coaching, like a barking, let's say, white man. I'll say it, but like she seems to be, to me, like a very human and like genuine communicator, and in a way that seemed like she seems aware of the human aspect of the players. And so like I don't know, and this could be for any of you, am I misreading that, or that seems like kind of a simple difference with her?
I actually think you hit the nail on the head where she's viewing all the players at Aurora as people, human beings first, and not players second, which I think when you're interacting with anybody, especially people you have power over because she is the head coach and she makes the decisions for the team, you have to treat your players like people, and then they're going to respond as you coach them, as you critique them, and as you try to make the team better and successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Aurora does a good job, especially Jen. The whole organization creates a great mutual level of respect where, respect isn't just given. You have to earn it every day. And I think the whole coaching staff has made it clear, like, it goes both ways. And, we want you to respect us, but we also have to respect you. And I think Jen does an excellent job with that.
Kat, how about to get some insight too? I mean, like, y'all have been here. Like, this is your 4th year. You came here before you even played in college, right? And so,
Babies.
I joked. I mean, like, being honorary. We love to adopt Minnesotans. I think we're just desperate to have, especially if they're talented. We want to claim them for our own. I know Lizzo grew up in Houston, but we take her fully as a Minnesotan, even though we can't claim the roots. But just talk about also, like, Jen was a coach here and carrying over the culture a bit. And of course, there's a lot of other veteran players, but you three are some of the people who've been here the longest. And, this has become one of your soccer homes. Talk about how you like feel as a leader, or like how you try to portray, how much you try to, fill that role. Cause I don't know if that's something you care about, but I'm sure people look up to you all being, consistent members of the squad. How do you feel about that?
I don't try and like force anything. Like I feel like every single person on the team can be a leader. It's not just like, I know there's obviously captains, but I've always been of the mindset where it's like anybody can say anything at any time. It doesn't just have to be, oh, this specific person. So if people, have questions or specific things that they want to talk about from past seasons or even that like relate to now, I am totally love to do that. So like want to step into that role. But also I like to follow as well. Like if there's somebody that is telling me something, I'm never gonna be like, oh, you can't say that to me because I'm like, I've been here for this will be the 4th summer. Like I'm not that type of person. But if any role that I need to step into, if that's like a higher leadership role, I would love to do that. But I'm just happy, doing whatever I need to do in order to help the team be as successful as possible.
I want to ask you too. I didn't have this on the list, but I thought about this now because there is such a team mentality, I think, with this squad, or at least that's how it's, portrayed, and it's what we get from players. Like that, there's always been a lot of rotation. There's always been new players. There's been players who go pro every year. And that's really fun for us, of course, because we like to see how the game is growing and see who gets on the next step of the path. So I do wonder, like, I guess it doesn't have to be a long answer, but I do wonder for you all, like, so starting with you, Eli, like, how is it when you see players going pro? Like, gosh, I mean, it's so hard to keep track of all of them, but even like, Hannah Adler's on like a U.S. beach national team, and we see her all the time. And I mean, we went through this last week on our show. We tried to list a lot of the players, too many. So it's a good record. But how is it for you to watch that? How does it change your belief in what you can do?
Well, I think it's just fun to see these people that we got to know for only a little bit of time get to kind of do their dream, which is to play professionally. So that's really fun to do. But then, as just a player who would love to do that myself, it's nice to see all of these new options because, I mean, a few years ago, that wasn't really viable, or it was just much more difficult, so many less opportunities. So then to see so many players that we personally know be able to do that just makes me feel a lot better about my options going forward. And I have so many more people I can talk to and discuss and learn things from because they've gone on that journey. So it's just really nice to see for me.
Yeah. Rami, how about you? I mean, I talked to each of you before we recorded, and you all are, on your way to professional success, regardless of the game of soccer. But, you can still dream to maybe have a little adventure first. Has it shifted for you, just even from first year at Aurora? I mean, the pro opportunities are a lot different. I mean, like USL Super League, Northern Super League in Canada, more upcoming in the US, and then of course everything that's abroad. Like, I know you have, a grounded professional path in front of you, but like, has it changed where you're like, maybe I kind of want to do this for a couple of years?
Yeah, I think when we came in, we were just 18. College was like this new scary thing, and it was so far, like it didn't even seem like a possibility back then. But through Aurora, it's shown like there's so many pro paths now, and you can do it. You just gotta put in the work, and definitely that's on my radar, and I would love to do that. And reaching out to people, it's so rewarding watching your friends like live out their dreams and go play pro, and getting to follow them. And like Addie from last year, she's starting at her first professional match, and 3 years ago we were talking about that and how excited she was to go play pro one day. So it's really rewarding to see that, and very makes me really excited for the future. And playing for Aurora is so rewarding, but it's exciting to look forward.
Yeah, people watch. People watch the games for sure. Seeing the players playing, and also look, man, I've had a lot of jobs that don't pay me that much. If someone wanted to pay me nothing to play soccer in Malta or Iceland, I'll go play soccer, man. Like,
not too bad.
It's some of the more remote and less glamorous spots are even more not glamorous soccer wise, but glamorous like human wise. So I said like Ari Del Moro playing in Malta. There's constantly Minnesota women playing in Iceland. And you're like, I'll go live in Iceland that sounds wonderful. But yeah, Kat, how do you process when you see all these players going pro, and the success you've already had with Aurora? Like I said, you have your professional paths as well, but how has it affected your perspective on thinking what is possible for you?
I'm just super excited for everybody that comes in contact with Aurora, like myself, obviously looking towards the future of wanting to, become a pro. I think it's amazing to see all the opportunities. And like you said, getting to see all the players that have come through and are now pro is really awesome just to see, because all these people, you want them to be successful. I've said I don't know if I've said it like everybody wants everybody else to be successful. It's obviously competitive, and it's like, oh, I want to score, I want to do this, but it's like nobody's mad if another person scores and like looks better. It's about, oh, that person just did something amazing, did something awesome, and everybody's happy for everybody else. So whenever I see anybody that's gone pro and is able to like do the things they want to do, I'm always so happy for them. I'm not like, oh, they're taking something away from somebody else. It's no, they're amazing. Like they totally deserve this. And I'm so like grateful that I got to play with them.
and they left space for y'all. They left minutes. So there you go. Talk about, I interviewed, this is a soft spot for Equal Time followers because this is something Matt's been doing much longer than I have been doing it with him, years and years and years. And so a new player for Aurora, someone I talked to at the training, is Annie Williams. Annie is, I walked up to her and said, I guess you're the auntie of the team now because Deanna Donkey isn't playing. She said, I'm the grandma. And so, because she is, I mean, she, you know, the gap between the youngest players when y'all started, like before college, you know, Annie's much more my peer in terms of age. But talk about that mix and, like, you know, someone, it could be Annie or also like some of your other players. You have experienced people who, you know, Annie played pro in multiple countries. Just talk about when you get those players in, and Kat, I'll just start with you, but talk about the mix and getting, what do you get out of that? Like by playing with players like that, because they could be a 10-year age difference, you know?
Yeah, I think it's always great. You know, you get new information, like you can ask them about anything. But I also think it's, at least from my experience, it's not like super different from any other player. You know, we're just practicing every day, competing. And, you know, if something like questions like that pop up, then, you know, I'll ask it. But mostly it just feels completely normal. It doesn't feel like there's this big age gap. And I think that's what all the players do a really great job of doing. It doesn't feel like these huge gaps are like between anybody. Like there can be a huge age gap and it doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like we're just one family together and there's no like any differences between anybody. But the information that you can get and like knowledge, if you're asking people that have gone pro or have done these things, is also extremely helpful. And, you know, just more information, that's always really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Eli, how have you found, you know, as like say just even in the college ranks, but of course being at Aurora now, it may come up being one of the more, a little bit more senior player, like how have you found your perspective as a player grow in terms of how you maybe as how you lead or like how you communicate with others or like how you found roles being different now that you're a bit more of the experienced player where you're at?
Well, real quick, gotta shout out, love her, Granny Annie. We kind of came up with that name on the bench, and I think it's kind of funny. So
I'm so
you're not that old.
older than Annie, by the way. Annie, yeah, I'm great grandpa Mark then.
Okay. Obviously, she's not
Annie.
that old. But
I think Annie
it fits. The name fits, right? So I had to shout her out.
Granny
Thought it was too funny of a name to not say it. So shout out to her.
Good.
But with being, what's funny is I feel like I am a senior player on the team through just the 4 years of experience playing, but the team feels slightly older in the sense there's so many players now on this team who are graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the past years, it might have felt a little bit more college age, and there's still tons of college age players, but there are a lot of people that have graduated looking to go pro. And so even though I'm 4 years now in, I still feel like not one of the younger players, but not definitely one of the oldest players. So it's weird because I'm like, I have all this time here, but I'm still not one of the oldest. So it's nice getting to use that experience to lead, like you were saying, but also having other people who can fill in those spaces where maybe I'm not as comfortable leading. That's really nice to have on a team. And so I've kind of just been enjoying filling that space where I lead in places I'm comfortable and can do that with my experience. But I'm also like, I love taking advice from other people who have done it. Just like you were saying, Annie has played pro and is now back on the team. So then her advice and her leadership is always welcome and appreciated by everybody on the team.
Granny Annie is too good, man. But also, by the way, young kids on the team, I think Annie will mess you up if you're on the team. I think she might take you down, bro. Like, if you,
they can't take. I mean, she's not a granny when she plays. That's for sure.
Check the youngies, Annie. That's that mom strength. Look.
Yes, exactly. She's got experience.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, look, she might, sprain a hip, but she's still gonna bust you up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rami, talk about your experience, like becoming a more experienced college player, more experienced summer league player. how have you grown into, your role in terms of, whatever leadership you find in different teams, but also just, how you express it on the field? Like, how has that grown as you've become, a more mature player?
I'd say I've grown a lot as a player, specifically since in my time at Aurora. I think I've gotten a lot more confident, more, I believe in myself more and what I have to offer. And I think I've matured, as a leader. And I think my favorite part about I think one way that we can lead as returners is watching, new people come in and see the environment as the most rewarding thing. Like, I remember at the game on Sunday, like it was only half filled, and the awe on some of the people's faces, it was like so cool to see, and just helping them through that. And like I remember our first game, we had to come like 2 weeks late because we just graduated high school, and there was like 5,000 people, and I was like, I don't even know 5,000 people. I can't believe there's 5,000 people at my game, and I just remember being so shocked and just like watching new people experience that has been honestly so rewarding, and it's been like so cool to see. And that is one way, is helping them, on the way trips, and how does Aurora run, and what do we believe in, and what are our values, and what do we stand for. And that's been really cool for me. That's, I think, a leadership role I've moved into, even off the field, is how do we make everyone feel like Minnesota can be home for the summer, especially when you're new, because Minnesota feels like second, third home to me now. And I think making everyone else feel like that has been a big thing that I've tried to take on, even if they're older. Like, it's always weird moving to a new spot. So I think, watching that transition has been really fun for me. And I think it's shown on the field too. Better chemistry, we play better. And I think I've grown a lot as a player and a person especially since being here.
Yeah, well, and I mean, for all of, it's a very open system in terms of transferring in the college game now, and y'all have had different places, which we'll talk a little bit about. But so, this has been the place actually, like every year you've come back. So it's kind of, it's unique because there are plenty of players who, summer league play can mean a lot to different players, and they might take a break, they might do an internship, they might not play, and so this has been the go-to, which is kind of fun. It is now time for what should be, I think, maybe the most fun segment. We're gonna name honorary Rapps, baby, each week. So, I mean, y'all have this document a little. I didn't really push you to really think about this between the three of you. And look, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to name honorary Rapps, but I think only once, for reference, in my life did someone try to say they were a Pravratsky triplet with us. And I think it was Zach Dreschler in youth soccer. So shout out to Zach.
Shout out.
We get that often. Like I can name like 30 people who said they're a quadruplet.
I'm guessing you do. And so look, and so this could be based on the soccer of it all. This could be based on the social of it all. Did you all put any thought into this of how you are naming? Like, by what standard are you naming it on? Like soccer rap or cultural? Have you put thought into how you name the honorary Rapp?
Well, we were kind of discussing it's just how we kind of feel like, sometimes it could be, we just had a great time with you this week outside of soccer. And sometimes it's you balled out and you were killing it in training and you were doing amazing things on the field. So it's kind of however
whatever you want, man. I'm into it.
Okay. Well, for me, I wanted to really shout out Cooney as our quadruplet. I think she had an amazing game, and then we just got to stay with her and really get close for a few days. And so it was really nice to get to know her. She's so young. She's 17 and a half, as she would say. She likes that half.
17 and a half.
Which really shows her age. Obviously, she's like, I got to get that half in because I'm so much younger. So, but I think she's so mature for her age. And even on the field, she was showing that. And obviously, everybody knows we came in through high school and that's what she's doing. And I think she's really stepped into Aurora so nicely, considering how young she is. And she's just a wonderful person. I've really liked getting to know her, and I thought she did incredible at the game. Almost had a banger of a goal. crossbar, of course, but that's just who I wanted to call out because I thought she was great.
I love it. And she's a, like, I had to look on Instagram because it is a new player, and look, I'm dumber than you think. I don't know all these players, but yeah, Utah State commit, right? But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, cool to, yeah. There's usually only a few high school like age players. I mean, y'all were kind of unique in that sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good for her. Utah State. It's also, yeah, it's like
I mean, there's not been a Utah State person that hasn't been amazing at Aurora. So, I mean, they can just keep bringing them in forever because all these awesome Utah State girls just come in, do well, are just the nicest people. And yeah, Utah State is killing it.
Well, and shout out to Addie, who's in the Northern Super League. Also, Kennedy Faulkner's in the Northern Super League, who played for Aurora last year. So tight. Yeah. Awesome to see. Love to see that league starting. And they're very Canadian focused, but I think Addie, I think maybe she married a Canadian guy, or
her dad is 100% Canadian.
Kennedy's from Canada, so it worked out for them. But it is tough for Americans to get their places there. We love it. Do you have any other, Kat or Rami? Do you have any other? You want to bestow any honorary Rappisms on some new players?
Yeah, I'll say Natalie. We also like stayed with her. She's like a new player this year, and she's just a great time. Like one of the nicest people I've met. I don't know, just vibed really great with her, and she had to leave because she has her graduation, so she won't be here this week. And I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. Like I've only known you for a few days, and I was like, oh, this really sucks. And I've already kind of been developing a good like connection with her on the field, her playing the 9 and me as the 10. So every time we're on the different teams, we're like, oh no, like we need to be on the same team. So shout out to her quadruplet this week.
All right. How about you, Rami?
Those are both great. I mean, those are both two wonderful people we've just met. And I've really enjoyed getting to spend time with them and get to know them. And they're both lovely people and great players. And I would totally agree with those two selections. I think, like even Cooney was joking, we should start doing family dinners up here and start eating dinner together because, we stayed with the Canes and they were cooking us dinner. So, nice. I mean, we're just so grateful they came and bring them into the fold.
We love it, man. Yeah, we love, I mean, it seems apparent every year how quick people become part of the family, and it kind of becomes a recurring thing. And yeah, it's fun for us to watch too, because it does seem like a place that if players feel at home and they're succeeding, we like that we like to see the game succeeding. So I'll do a quick little break just to shout out our sponsors. Pentz Homes, longest running sponsor we've got. Shout out, I'm in a Pentz home right now. I got friends and family. My mom and dad just got a Pentz home for this summer. So thank you to everything they do to support the women's game. They've sponsored us forever. And so when we, drive to a crazy game in South Dakota or Wisconsin or Illinois, or fly like Matt when he's nuts, part of that is because Pentz Homes helped us out. This summer we have new sponsors, Bar Their Own. Obviously, the most well-known bar in Minnesota for being a lesbian and women's sports bar. We love supporting them. And then the Black Hart, where I work, it's an incestuous world, but they're supporting us as well. We're giving away gift cards to the Black Hart. So thank you to everyone who supports what we do. Keep sharing. And also thank you to the Patreons, especially the moms. I'm certain we have a rat mother watching at some point on this stream.
For sure.
And so we're going to ask about her too. But let's talk transfer portal, because it's a very new time in college sports. And now we're going to have women's soccer is not the biggest place for the direct payment of like NIL dollars, but it will be part of the equation of how they, get scholarships, and like it's all a part of you finding your place of where you can play and thrive. And so we're all about player empowerment. Each of you have had different experiences going different places. So I wanted to get a sense of kind of your experience with transferring. Kat, talk about, where you've been. Obviously FIU, it's going to be Kentucky now, and I think I got these details right, but I might mess them up. But now you're going to be at Kentucky, right? I mean, talk about what was the transfer portal like for you, was it any different, from when you first were being recruited, a few years ago? Just talk about, in terms of a player navigating it, how was that experience for you?
I actually thought it was a lot easier, I guess, than when I first, was in high school and trying to do, get recruited because I just didn't. We in our family didn't know anything. We were like, people are just gonna see you, and that does happen, obviously. But like, I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be more like it kind of just happens, and you don't really have to do as much.
Like
And
the merit of it will just take you to the top,
yes,
but you're
and
like,
for some players, that obviously happens because you're on a like specific team or you're doing this or that or whatever. Um,
right.
but I didn't realize how much extra things you had to do. So it was, I mean, at least for me, it was pretty. I don't want to say easy, but like I entered it, and coaches just start emailing you, and you talk to different coaches, and you learn about the team, you learn about the coaches, the university, and you just kind of pick where you want to go from there and what suits you the best. And I had really good conversations with coaches, and I obviously decided to transfer to Kentucky, but so I thought it was very simple, but obviously for other people it can be more challenging, but it was pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that it's easier once you've gone through it and you expect, like, when I picked my college, I mean, I lucked out. I mean, like, I wasn't picking it for the exact reasons I ended up liking it. Like, I just kind of, certain things matched up. And then it was lucky because you don't know. Like, it's really hard, especially how early you end up being recruited as a teenager when people actually want you to play sports there. Eli, talk about your experience because, you were at Oklahoma, now and FIU, and then now you're going to be. This is an equal time favorite spot at the Portland Pilots because we've had a ton of Portland people on because of Danny Foxhoven Young. But talk about what you've taken from communicating with coaches during the transfer process, because, like I said, with Kat, like, you learn more of what you need, you learn what works for you. It's kind of like when you're finding jobs as an adult and you realize, like, oh, this is actually what I need to succeed. How have you, grown in that, and what have you taken from the transfer process?
Well, what I've really found is how important the coach is. Like if anybody ever asks me about transferring or they're debating it and they're thinking about their options, that's kind of my first point, is to always really consider the coach, because
Yeah.
I don't want to say they make or break your experience, but I mean, so much of it is revolved around the soccer that even if you're loving so many other things, if you're having a challenging time with the team or with those type of things, it can really put a damper on your experience. So I just say, get to know the coach as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can. And a lot of people will feel pushy. They don't want to ask. They just want to get recruited, and they feel like they're going to put off the coach if they're asking a bunch of questions. But I say do the opposite. Ask your questions, find what you need, and learn as much as you can about the people that are going to be your coaches and control a whole lot of your soccer future. And so that's really what I've learned from now transferring twice, is if you find the right people, then you'll be a lot happier.
Yeah. Well, and they control your soccer life, but by virtue of that, they control your their academic schedule. They control everything. So it is, I mean, you have to find a match. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's what I compare, like, the few times where I remember leaving a job where I was like, he's like, I think we gotta do something different. I'm like, me too. This is not, nope, we don't match up, dude. We gotta find it out. Rami, different question for you. I want to know, like, because of course, like, I'll joke with, like, Matt and I being twins and y'all being triplets. Like, people will ask us questions, and I'm gonna ask a couple more of these. But, like, from the difference of playing with siblings, right? So, like, you went to Oklahoma with Eli, and then you were on a team alone, and so, like, I did always get a nice benefit out of, like, playing with Matt. Like, we were a little better than otherwise. We weren't nearly as good as you guys, but we were better with whatever vibe we had together. How was it just, I mean, playing separate and then also living separate? Because, yeah, I mean, Kat did that too freshman year, but, as a different thing for you.
Yeah, it's so interesting going from spending basically 24/7 with the same two people and, driving to practice together, same classes, same friends. And then I had Eli freshman year, and then you go and you're, you know, 1,000 miles from home and you're with totally new people. But I think I adapted really well, and, we call all the time. And there's nothing like a connection with your sibling on the field, but I think I formed good connections with other players. And that's why I think I appreciate the summer so much more is we're apart and then we come back together, and I'm lucky enough to have found someplace I'm super happy at now. And I wish it was with them, but either way I'm happy, and we hope in the future, live near each other. And so I'm just happy that they're happy and finding places that makes them happy. And obviously the connection though is there's nothing that beats a sibling connection, I think.
Yeah. Talk about getting the individuality though of like living alone in the place for the first time. Like, what'd you get out of that? I'm curious.
Well, like, even we joke about this all the time. Like, I've had to rewire my brain to be like, I can't say we when I'm talking. Like, I'm so used to like, oh, we'll be there in 5, and my friends are like, what are you talking about? Like, we, who are you bringing? I'm like,
You were alone, dude. Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
miss
oh,
that so much.
I'm used to bringing my sisters, and like, we'll be there so soon. I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there. That's like a weird small thing that you wouldn't understand if like you
Yeah.
aren't it spending, like, even siblings. Like, I wouldn't do that with my brother, but like, I mean, we did everything together in high school, and we had the same friends, and like, which I loved. So it was just even weird things like that. I'm like, okay, I'm coming. We're not coming to an event or whatever, but I don't know. Even just small things like that have shown me like we just grew up so differently, but it's my favorite thing. And it's been interesting being individual. I think it's been good for all of us. It definitely makes me appreciate our relationship that much more. I'm like, wow, am I lucky? To have like two people that I miss that dearly. Like, how often does that happen? So I think I've grown a lot alone, but I also, appreciate them even more.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice to know it's like, you have the connection without, you can have it even if you don't see each other, like that's
Right.
what's cool. You got your own thing going on. Talk about that, Kat, when you were first, because you were the one you were alone freshman year, but like, just, God, I'm asking the questions I hate people asking, but now but just talk about that. It's like, I'm curious, what was it like for you being alone, playing alone, and then being apart from the sisters freshman year?
It was different, obviously. Like coming into my freshman year, I think it's a little bit different than Rami, just because it was totally new. Like I didn't have kind of any buffer, I guess. But I enjoyed it. Like I'll say, it was hard because, like you said, it's like go from seeing them every single day to like didn't ever see them, and except for like winter break and breaks like that. And I remember we had like a team thing where we had to put like why I fight, and I put a picture of Elizabeth and Rami, and I remember being like, kind of emotional about it because I was like, this will be the longest that I've ever been apart from them, like by far, because
Yeah.
I think the first however many 18 years of our lives, probably the longest we were ever apart was maybe a week. So I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm not going to be with them. But I don't know. I think, like Rami was saying, was good. It's like you need to be able to be alone and be independent. So, just learn those things, because eventually I am just going to be fully without them for longer periods of time. So always knowing that I can call and talk to them and do that, which I did, but then also being like, okay, I can step into me as an individual more. And like Remy said, instead of thinking of myself as like a we, it's just me, and like, what am I going to do? And I'm excited for that as well. Like this last semester, obviously I'd love to play with both of them, because I mean, it's just my favorite thing for all three of us to be together and playing together. But I do think it's going to be nice again to be independent and by myself, as I transition into the next like step of my life, being able to grow as a person independent from them.
Yeah, I love hearing that. I mean, Eli, how's it been for you in terms of like you played with Grammy a little bit, and then now, you're on your own paths too. Like anything more to add that your sisters didn't cover so far about that?
Well, I just gotta say it's been so nice playing with them, and so I don't have that experience on my own, so I can't really speak on that. I'm actually so sad about having to
Yeah.
go all on my own. I've always found that I'm more myself when I'm with them, and I know that seems weird, but I feel like I'm a more confident person. I've got people watching my back and always supporting me, so I've always found I'm more myself when I'm with them. So it'll be interesting for me to see how I change or adapt, interacting with others and being on a team where it's just me. So excited, but a little nervous, honestly.
That's new. We love it. That's sweet. Yeah, I love hearing from you guys talking about it because yeah, that's funny. Until I moved back to St. Paul, Matt and I were apart for like 12 years. So we'd be like, "Did you miss him?" Like, I guess. Like, yeah, I did, kind of. Like,
It became your normal.
we text each other. Yeah, yeah. We did go to college the same place. So, I can't say we weren't. I was around him for sure. Not like I was detached. Talk about we had you all on at an Aurora 2 game last summer, and so I don't know how many people got to see it, and so like I'm not going to go deep into it. I kind of asked some triplet questions already, but what's the because I get asked twin questions constantly, Matt and I do, and they're very boring and they get very annoying and uncreative. What's your least favorite, or you can list multiple? Let's start with Rami. What's the least favorite triplet question or comment like you get from people?
Least favorite.
I could list my 5. I could list them all if you want me to.
Well, I think one interesting one is, are you guys born on the same day? I'm like, what are the odds that
What?
you're not born on the same day? Like, I find that one so interesting. I'm like, what are the odds
One
one
is-
of us is born at like 11:59 p.m. and then someone's born at 12:01? Like,
it
I find that one weird. Or like, I guess in the same grade. I'm like,
it so doesn't matter. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
that's an interesting one. Or like, I always think the one where they're like, can you guys like read each other's mind? I always
Yeah.
think that one's funny. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no, we can't, but it's interesting.
Yeah. 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 How about you, Eli? What do you have any that come to mind?
Well, for me, people always ask, and I understand why they ask it, but like, what's it like to be a triplet? And I
Yeah.
am always kind of like,
Yeah.
well, it's hard for me to answer because I've always been a triplet, so it's kind of
Oh,
my
yeah.
normal. So it's hard for me to describe. It's
Yeah.
like I guess when I try to describe it, it's like I love my brother so much, but it's a different connection when you're with a twin, a triplet, than it is even for another sibling. It's just heightened and elevated. So I guess I describe it like that, but it's kind of hard for people to understand because
Well, you can't answer. You have no idea what the other way is.
yeah, that's what I mean. So
I
like,
ask you that, be like, do you like it? You'd be like, well, I'm alive, and so I guess I'd be dead if I wasn't a twin. So
yeah. And when I'm also like, what am I gonna sit here and tell you? No, I hate being a triplet. I
Yeah,
wish I wasn't. I hate my sisters. Like, no, I'm not gonna tell you that because it's not true. So what are you trying to hear from that? What are you trying to learn?
My sisters are the worst.
Oh yeah, gosh, they just annoy me so much. Like, I'm not gonna say that. So
Is there any other ones, Kat, that come to your mind that people bring up?
Yeah, this isn't like a common one. It's just one time, like somebody said this, and I was like, "What do you think?" So somebody was asked me or Elizabeth, I can't remember. It's like, how do you tell yourself apart
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Elizabeth? And I'm like, I know
yeah,
who I am. I didn't even know how to answer it because it's like
yeah,
an
yeah.
individual person, like my brother. He's not a twin, but
True.
you know who you are because that's
Yeah,
who
dude.
you are. I was like, I
No.
don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah. No, we get that too. If we look, we have to be young, like, because now, like, people can tell Matt and I apart pretty well, or better now. But we're like kind of like Kat and Eli, like we're close enough. But like, if you knew us, like, you should. But they would, and my sisters would ask me that, and they'd say, "How do you know which one's you?" You're like, "That's a philosophical question, my dude. I don't know how to know that." You're like, "I can tell," but it is funny because yeah, it's like Matt and I could tell. My mom's next best, and then like all the rest of our family is like a huge drop if they can tell, and it's very funny. Yeah, no, I bet Kat and Eli, I bet you get that plenty, but yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, they ask that. They ask you like be twin. They ask like. I used to get people who, and maybe we said that when y'all on before, when I lived in like Duluth, so I was in a different place than my brother, right? And so it'd be like people in politics who knew kind of me, and they'd be like, "No, you're Matt," and I'm like, "No," and they would
You're wrong.
argue back, and they would like argue that I was wrong, and I was like, "I don't know you, and I don't care," and I just walked away. I'm like, I just walked away. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know you. I don't have any reference for you. Yeah,
It's like they think you're trying to trick them. Like that happens
no,
in
this
the
happens.
movies occasionally.
None of us would do this. It's not fun. You're like, it's
Yeah.
not fun to play this game.
It's too much work to try to pretend to be someone else.
It's no, honestly, funny, but yeah. I mean, and in fairness to everyone else who can't tell the Rapps apart, took me a couple years too, but now I got it down. So.
They're doing their best, so we understand. We'll cut them some slack.
Yeah. So I do want to ask though. Also, I forget if we've gotten this in post games from y'all, but you play different positions. I mean, like you're very flexible in terms of where you can play each of you, but it does help us to keep you apart. Like you kind of play different roles. So I am curious, like who, when you were growing up, who's your favorite player, or if not every player is like this. Do you have a player like you tried to, match your game after or anything like that? Rami, we'll start with you. Did you have someone like who's your favorite or someone like you were matching game after?
I'd say growing up, it was always Messi. We were a big Barcelona family.
Okay.
Like Eli, that is her ride or die team. I love them, and I mean, I just feel like that's such a cliche answer, but I don't know. We were just huge Messi fans growing up, and I just love the Messi versus Ronaldo arguments. I'm getting to like scream matches with people over that. Like, Messi is all the way. Like, come on, and I don't know.
I'm with you.
I feel like you don't even need to be a midfielder forward to be like, I want to emulate my game after him. Best of the best. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a better player in my opinion. So that would definitely be growing up. Like I feel lucky to grow up watching him. So
yeah, I mean, shout out to last Saturday, Messi. You made me a lot of money at the bar. So shout out to that home game.
I kept looking at the score and I was like, oh my god, 4-1.
I liked the banter too. I mean, it was kind of petty, but it's like, why not? Like the Loons were they were bantering Minnesota or the Miami team on social, and
I saw David Beckham. He responded. He's like, chosen class.
And I was like, you're kind of making it worse by being sensitive about it, but it was funny. I mean, look, man, he's a sensitive man. He's a pretty man. Eli, talk about on your side of it, did you have a specific player you emulated or someone?
It's definitely obviously going to be Messi, but I won't say the same. Although I'm not currently playing like a midfield role, if I was going to name some other players that I just absolutely loved growing up, it would be the Xavi, Iniesta, even Busquets, like any of those midfield three, just them together. You're like, they're the perfect trio. So definitely growing up them, like Rami was saying, I'm like a ride or die Barcelona. I was a shot to the heart, them going out of the Champions League this year. So definitely those players growing up, and then currently just watching like Frankie de Jong, Pedri in the midfield, all these players just do so well. I love watching them, and I don't think I've ever really emulated my entire game on players per se, but taking parts of other people's games and trying to add it to mine. Like I think of someone like a Frankie de Jong at Barcelona, and he's got his de Jong turn basically. I'm like, okay, his feint, I want to incorporate that into my game because I think it's so effective. And when I watch him, he's just so silky smooth. So then certain things like that from different players that I love, I'll see and I'll try to incorporate. But it's never been one player where I'm like, I need to be that person because that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's only one Eli Rapp. You got to be your own. Yeah. Kat, how about you? I mean, got the Barca times. I mean, yeah, you guys are. Yeah. I mean, yeah. What was your type of player to look up to, or did you?
I obviously like Messi as well, but I'll say I'm a big Man City fan. Have been a fan of them for years. So De Bruyne. I wouldn't really say I try and like mimic my game after him. I just love watching him play, like the stuff that he does. I will say his mindset of like, I'm going to make this pass, and even if it doesn't work out, just continue making those passes. I think that's a great mindset to have. So like a De Bruyne, Ronaldinho. I love watching his clips of just that. There's the one where he like juggles back and forth over this guy like 5 times, and I'm like, that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then on the women's side, just because I think shout out to the women's players.
I love that.
Megan Rapinoe. I chose number 15 years and years and years ago because she was number 15. And so I love Megan Rapinoe, and I think she's awesome.
I mean, she did something right. I work at a bar that has her whole body across the side of it. So I think, she's doing all right. I love that. Yeah. No, shout out. Yeah, we're pumped for the women's game for sure. Yeah, we're psyched for the next World Cup coming up. I did want to ask one other thing too. Rami, you got to throw the first pitch at the Twins game. I got a couple more questions, but this is one. At the Twins game, the Aurora gets a lot of local sports shine. So I don't know if it's someone in the front office that needs credit for this or just like people like having the women's players in the building. But a lot of games, you get to go to really cool games. How did you prepare to throw out the first pitch? Did your sisters help you? Talk about the prep. How nervous were you?
I was so nervous because, did
you ever play baseball or softball?
We didn't like play it like as an actual sport, but my dad, since we were little, we had these really old like mitt or whatever the gloves, and we would just throw the ball.
That answers it all.
No, we did not play, but he would throw the ball at us all the time. We'd play catch, and we went out we're staying at the dorms and at Concordia, and we would just throw the ball for 10-20 minutes every few days leading up. And I was so nervous because I went out there. It is a lot farther of a throw than it looks. Like a lot farther. I went out there and I'm like, there's so many people. The Twins Stadium is huge. And
I've been. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Huge, and there was a lot of people, and the whole team was cheering, and I have not been that nervous in a long time, and it is really far. And my mom was like, "Don't you have to get it to the I think it was the mascot that was like sitting there. She's like,
the bear, TC Bear or something. Yeah,
I don't know whatever they are, but
I think it's the Twin Cities Bear. I don't know. Yeah,
she was like, "You got to make it there." So I'm like, "Okay." I'm so nervous, but it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And they got me the ball that I threw, and I got.
You have it?
Yeah, they got it. It has a little bit of dirt 'cause the mascot dropped it, but.
Oh yeah, dude.
I was like, I was a good throw, and they took a video, and they got me a jersey with my name and number on the back, and it was really cool.
How did you get picked to be the person?
They did one of the coaches reached into the group chat and was like, "Hey, is anybody interested in this game?" I'm like, "I am very down." And then they were like, "Who wants to throw the first pitch?" Like they offered, and then they put us in like a little like lottery type thing for the team, and then they drew my name, and I got to do it.
How many players put in?
I think like everyone. So it was like random.
Yeah, I assume most people would. Yeah, I was like, Kat and Eli, do you know? Yeah.
Oh yeah. They were so mad at first. Like,
it's the type of thing that you'd sign up and be like, yeah, I want to do it, and then I'm like, wait, I might look like shit. Like I might, like I'm not like because I played cat. It's like you. It's like we played catch and stuff. Like I didn't. So I might actually on the day be like, wait. Like the first time I went into a drag show at our bar, I was like, wait. The only thing I can do artistically is sing, but I can't sing, and so this is terrible. This is horrifying. But I love that. I mean, it's once in a lifetime. Very few people get to do it. So good.
Very few.
I mean, Kat and Eli in the next lottery. I mean,
darn. I know.
I love it.
Simone Biles is like throwing out the first pitch, and all of these. I'm like, I'm in good company. So
you didn't do a flip. I
did not. I was like, I can barely get the throw there. I better just concentrate on that.
Those gymnasts when they do like the flips, and you're like, Jesus, like God, yeah, and then they still can throw the ball. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so. We had, it's on our Instagram grid. For anyone who hasn't seen it, we had Lisa Rapp on last summer, baby. And we loved it. We had her on. And so people can go back and watch. I'm sure we'll get her on again. But shout out to the moms. It's the core of our support, our Patreon supporters, the people who watch our stuff on Facebook. It's all moms. Shout out to my mom, Jean. Love you, Mom. Talk about Lisa being a soccer mom. Kat, we'll start with you this time. Talk about and you can include, other family or parents too, but Lisa's the one we met, and we care about the moms. Talk about what she meant to you growing up in terms of being a soccer player, and just kind of like, how you can give her some credit maybe for that you all are thriving right now.
She's meant a whole lot. She never played soccer. It was always our dad. Not that he pushed us, but like he's super, super into soccer. So he was always like, telling us what to do, teaching us. And so she doesn't really know anything about soccer, but she's been so supportive. Like she probably watches more games than 99% of the people that I've met that even play or like soccer. And she's just gotten so into it because our whole family is into it. And so she's kind of on the side of always supporting us and being there for us. She's like, hey, do you want to watch this game? I'm like, of course I want to watch it with you. Just, like hang out with her. And so she does all this stuff that she might not even necessarily enjoy as much as, the rest of us, but she will do it because she knows that we love it. And so she's always pushing us to do as much as we can. And she's just been a great support. And we wouldn't be nearly as good as we are without her, even without her having this super huge knowledge about soccer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think she must enjoy it a little bit because she's doing a bunch of she's flying up to games. She's in became a fan. I mean, my parents didn't give any care about soccer before we were little kids, just getting daycare from it. But I think they've grown into it. My mom flew up to go to the Aurora game on Sunday, dude, from Florida. She's nuts. So shout out to Jean.
Wow, that's awesome.
Eli, talk about your mom and family supporting y'all, and I'm sure in the youth time, so much travel and money and everything, but like just talk about how that has been for you in terms of having parents support you and how it's grown you in the game.
Well, definitely with the parent support, I think our parents have been amazing. Growing up in Arkansas isn't the best soccer environment in the sense of there's just not as many teams because there's not that many people. So every single weekend, essentially, we were driving to Texas, Tennessee, Missouri, these kind of places.
Arizona and Colorado and stuff.
And so we couldn't drive when we were that young. So they were taking us there and spending time over the weekends to watch us play and be with our team. And I'm sure that took a lot of effort and maybe wasn't always what they wanted to do, but it helped us get where we are. And so then I think that was really important to us. And then for my mom, I mean, even now she's just the absolute best. I get daily Instagram reel stuff from her about different nutrition things and mental stuff. She's really good with that. And just always the biggest supporter, not kind of a little bit more separate from soccer where, like she knows we know what we need to do on the field, but everything outside of it that you can mess up or that she thinks we can improve or she can help us learn to do better. She's always trying to learn and then teach us because she wants us to be the best overall. And I think that's kind of a really important role that she's taken on. And it's just great to have that kind of support.
Mm-hmm. We really do. I mean, Matt does a good job of when he's at away games, especially like catching mom interviews, because we just know what they do to help y'all out. And it was cute to see because y'all definitely are the spitting image of Lisa for sure. It was cute to see. And also, look, Matt and I are getting older and older than the players. So when we meet the parents, we're kind of like, what up, my peers? Straight up. Like, what these are people in our generation. We love it. But Rami, talk about what type of sports parents you had, and maybe is there any difference to like, look, we watch a lot of games and we'll see, the varying levels of parents and like kind of if they're too aggressive or yelling and stuff. Like how did your parents compare to seeing other people as you're growing up in the game?
I feel like our parents were very just like, my dad couldn't like sit near any of the other parents. He had to like sit off in the corner. And like they were both silent, like they never yelled, or we would debrief in the car and be like, oh, you did this good, whatever. And I feel like I appreciated that they were never too, overbearing on the sideline. always feel bad for players if their parents are too
Uh-huh.
yelling at them. It's got to be hard. Like, you're just trying to play. So I always appreciate that our parents realized it was our passion. They wanted to help and support any way they could, but it's our dream, and you can't force a dream on someone. So I always appreciated they supported but weren't overbearing, and yeah, they just would sit in the corner. My mom would talk to people. My dad had to be like on the other end. He had to be near the
Just
goal.
on his own. Yeah,
Which
just
is
on
like,
his own.
he never said anything. He would just debrief in the car, and that was my favorite, hour back, unless I played bad.
What's your dad in that little tag? Unless
I played bad and sisters played good, and then it was, oh, Yelling Cat played great, and it's Rami, you played all right. And that was always our
maybe a little honest. That's okay. Hey, look, a little maybe some tough love. What's your dad's name?
David
and Lisa, buddy. Yeah, well, we really appreciate the time we got with y'all. We're gonna see how much we can do this year with the Aurora wrap up, as we get more games, and also just getting insight from you all into what it's like to be playing in the women's game at this point in time. A special time, good growth, and we're excited to see how much Aurora players are thriving in that context. But yeah, so thank you to Kat, Eli, and Rami, and we will work to have, I think, some more wrap up later this summer. So
Heck yeah.
thank you all.
Thanks for having us.
Good.
No, share it.